The appearance and comprehensiveness of this divine craft, this dominical deed, which is miraculous in three separate respects, in the countless bees that are found scattered over the earth with the same wisdom, the same care, the same symmetry, at the same time, and in the same fashion, this is self-evident proof of God's unity. The second verse. There is for you a lesson in cattle. From what is within their bodies, between excretions of blood, we produce for your drink milk, pure and agreeable to those who drink it. This verse is a decree overflowing with useful instruction. To place in the nipples of cows, camels, goats, and sheep, as well as human mothers, in the midst of blood and excrement, but without being polluted by them, a substance the exact opposite, pure, clean, pleasant, nutritive and white milk, and to inspire in their hearts tenderness toward their young that is still more pleasant, sweeter and more valuable than milk. This requires such a degree of mercy, wisdom, knowledge, power, will, and care that it cannot in any way be the work of turbulent chance, of the tangled elements, or of blind forces. The manifestation, workings, and comprehensiveness of so miraculous a dominical act and so wise a divine deed over all the face of the globe, in the countless hearts and breasts of innumerable mothers, of hundreds of thousands of species, in the same instant, the same fashion, with the same wisdom and the same care. This too constitutes a self-evident proof of God's unity. The third verse. From the fruits of the date palm and the vine you take sugar and fine nourishment. Verily therein is a sign for a people possessing intelligence. This verse invites our attention to the date and to grapes, saying, for those of intelligence, there is great proof, argument, and evidence of the divine unity in these two fruits. These two fruits yield nurture and sustenance, fresh and dry fruit, and give rise to most delicious forms of food. Yet the trees that bear them stand in waterless sand and dry soil, and are thus miracles of power and wonders of wisdom. They are each of them like a factory producing sweet sugar, a machine manufacturing honey-like syrup, a work of art created with perfect order and sensitive balance, wisdom, and care. Hence anyone with a grain of intelligence will say on contemplating them, the one who made them in this fashion may very well be the creator of the whole cosmos. For in front of our eyes, each vine branch the thickness of a finger will hold 20 bunches of grapes, and each bunch will in turn contain hundreds of sugary grapes, each like a little pump emitting syrup. To clothe the surface of each grape with a fine, delicate, thin, and colorful protection, to place in its delicate and soft hard seeds with their hard shells, which are like its retentive faculty, program, and the story of its life, to manufacture in its stomach a sweetmeat like the helva of paradise, a honey like the water of Kawthar, to create an infinite number of such grapes over the face of the entire earth with the same care and wisdom and wonderful art, and at the same time and in the same fashion. This proves in self-evident fashion that the one who fulfills these tasks is the creator of the whole cosmos. And this deed, requiring as it does infinite power and infinite wisdom, can only be his deed. Yes, blind and stray, disorderly and unconscious, aimless, aggressive, and anarchic forces, nature and causality, cannot have anything to do with this most sensitive balance, this most skillful art, this most wise scheme. They cannot even stretch out their hands toward it. It falls to them only to be employed through the dominical command as passive objects, as curtain holders. Just like the 3 points proving divine unity contained in the 3 truths indicated in the 3 verses, the countless manifestations and workings of infinite dominical deeds attest unanimously to the unity of a single one in unity, the all-glorious One. The first truth, the truth of opening. That is, the opening up from a single simple substance of innumerable varied and separate forms together everywhere in a single instant and by a single deed through the manifestation of the name of the opener. Yes, in the same way that God's creative power has opened up innumerable beings like flowers in the garden of the cosmos and endowed each with an orderly form and distinct identity. Through the manifestation of the name of opener, so too, although in more miraculous fashion, he has given to the 400,000 species of animate beings in the garden of the earth each its symmetrical, adorned, and distinct form. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, in 3 darknesses. That is God, your sustainer. His is the sovereignty. There is no God other than He. Where then will you turn? Naught is hidden from God, neither on earth nor in the heavens. He it is who forms you in the wombs as He wills. There is no God but He, the mighty, the wise. As these 2 verses indicate, the strongest proof of divine unity and the most remarkable miracle of divine power is God's opening up of forms. Because the opening of forms is repeatedly established and expounded in different ways elsewhere in the risale-i nur, and particularly in the 6th and 7th degrees of the 1st chapter of the 2nd station of this treatise, we refer the discussion of this matter to those places and restrict ourselves here to the following. According to the testimony of botany and biology, based on profound research, there is in the opening and unfolding of forms such comprehensiveness and artistry that other than a single and unique one absolutely powerful, able to see and do all things in all things, no one can understand this comprehensive and all-embracing deed. For this deed of the unfolding of forms demands a wisdom, an attention, and a comprehensiveness that are present at all times and are contained within an infinite power. This power, in turn, can be found only in that unique being who administers the whole cosmos. As is decreed in the above-quoted verses, God's attribute of opening, expressed in the opening and creation of the forms of men from their mothers' wombs, within 3 darknesses, separately with equilibrium, distinctness, and order, without any error, confusion, or mistake. This truth of the unfolding of the forms of all men and animals all over the earth with the same power, the same wisdom, and the same artistry is a most powerful proof of God's unity. For to comprehend and embrace all things is itself a form of unity that leaves no room for the assignation of partners to God. Just as the 19 truths of the 1st chapter bearing witness to the necessary existence of God also attest to the existence of the Creator through their own existence, so too they bear witness to His unity through their comprehensiveness. Our traveler then saw the 2nd truth in the 3rd stopping place. The 3rd truth, the truth of disposing and administering. That is, to administer with complete order and equilibrium both the awesome and swift-moving heavenly bodies and imperious interfering elements and the needy, weak denizens of earth.